Hello again, everyone. Welcome to Washington Gun Law TV. I am Washington Gun Law President William Kirk. Thanks for joining us. Coming to you from Washington's premier indoor shooting facility. Of course, that's Security Gun Club right here in Woodinville, Washington. Hey, New Mexico, we're going to get to talk again. It's been a while. The last time we got to talk, your governor was just running amok with executive orders, just overriding concealed carry law in the state of New Mexico. And after your governor got done mucking it all up, well, it appears that your state legislature is right behind her. We're going to talk about a piece of legislation that I got to be honest with you is very, very thorough in the sense that it literally has every type of civilian disarmament wish list item on here that you could possibly want. So today what we're going to do, America, is we're going to talk about a new gun bill that brings with it an assault weapon ban, a magazine ban, and a gun registry, and they do it all in one bill, not making it up. So today, let's spend a few minutes and let's talk about, is this now America's worst gun control bill? Okay, New Mexico and America, we are talking about Senate Bill 279, a really wonderful piece of legislation kicking around in the state of New Mexico. Now, when I said earlier that this might literally be the worst gun bill we've seen in a long time, let me explain what I mean, because that's not hyperbole. I'm not trying to clickbait here, okay? If you took a look at states that are in the depths of gun control, like my state, Washington, or California, Illinois, New York, New Jersey, you'll see that it really took several years, almost a few decades, where they just kind of whittled away piece by piece at people's gun rights until they wake up one day and they really have no gun rights at all. Well, New Mexico, they want to just play catch up here, okay? Because on this particular piece of legislation, and I want you to understand this, everyone, this piece of legislation, if enacted into law, would accomplish all of the following. There would be an assault weapon ban. There would be a magazine ban. There would be a ban of rapid fire devices. There would be a ban of machine guns. And there would be a gun registry created. That's right. They would actually create a New Mexico gun registry. Now, listen, the bill has a lot of bullet points to it, so we're going to try to step on the gas now. We're going to try to get through this. The law, if enacted, would presumably go into effect July 1st of this year, but then some of the more serious provisions, like banning the possession of these firearms, oh, that's right, I used the word possession, yeah, those would go into effect January 1st, 2026. Okay, for those of you who geek out on this channel regularly or other channels that cover this, you will remember there was a piece of federal legislation called the Go Safe Act. Go Safe is an acronym for Gas-Operated Semi-Automatic Firearms Exclusion Act. And all it really is, New Mexico, is while most states will ban a firearm based upon the features it has on the outside, your law would ban these semi-automatic rifles based upon the features they have on the inside. Okay, but it's like we're not banning cars, we're just banning everything with four wheels and a gas-burning engine. That's essentially what they're doing here. Just so you understand, New Mexico, if this is enacted into law, there are 5 ways you can have a gas-operated firearm that could be subject to a ban. 1, a long-stroke piston in which gas is vented from the barrel to a piston that is mechanically fixed to the bolt group and moves to cycle the action. 2, a short-stroke piston in which gas is vented from the barrel to a piston that moves separately from the bolt group so that the energy is imparted through a gas piston to cycle the action. 3, a system that traps and vents gas from either the barrel or the chamber to directly strike or impinge the bolt carrier, or slide assembly to unlock and cycle the action. 4, a hybrid system that combines the elements of a system described in paragraph 3 of this subsection with a system described in paragraph 1 or 2 of this subsection to capture gas vented from the barrel to cycle the action. Or 5, a blowback operated system that directly uses the expanding gases of the ignited propellant powder acting on the cartridge case to drive the breech block or breech bolt rearward. Okay, now I know that some of you, when you see those 5 ways in which you have a gas operated system, a lot of people think, hey, number 5 pretty much covers semi-automatic handguns. It kind of does. Same problem they're having out in Colorado right now with Senate Bill 3. However, what is also in that bill out in Colorado, there is an exception, because the bill clearly at the current time states, for purposes of this section, gas-operated semi-automatic firearms does not include F, a single or double action semi-automatic handgun that uses recoil to cycle the action of the handgun. Okay, now what firearms would be banned under this legislation? Well, effective July 1st, you would not be able to commercially purchase any of these firearms. And then come the first of the year, you would not be able to possess any of these, even those that were grandfathered in, unless, of course, you register them. We'll get to them. The law would read as follows. Beginning July 1st, 2025, and except as provided in subsection C or D of this section, or section 8 of the Gas-Operated Semi-Automatic Firearms Exclusion Act, it is unlawful for a person to import, sell, manufacture, transfer, or receive any of the following firearms, devices, or combination of parts. Okay, and then I want you to pay attention because it appears that the New Mexico Attorney General gets a lot of discretion to figure out what is banned, because the very first description of it is 1. A firearm that is included on the list of prohibited gas-operated semi-automatic firearms identified by the Attorney General. And then New Mexico, I want you to be aware that there is likely a huge parts ban that comes if this becomes law. Because if you take a look at all the other descriptions of what would be a prohibited firearm from this point forward, there is a large, as you can see here, descriptions about parts, combination of parts, or anything that can be used to convert a firearm into a now banned gas-operated firearm. Okay, now New Mexico, I want you to be really aware of this, because if this bill in this form is enacted into law, you cannot purchase any more of these items effective July 1st of this year. However, effective January 1st of 2026, you wouldn't be able to possess anymore because the law changes. The law would read, beginning January 1st, 2026, and except as provided in subsection C or D of this section, it is unlawful for a person to possess a firearm, device, or combination of parts described in paragraphs 1 through 5 of subsection A of this section. Okay, you get that? January 1st of 2026, if you have one of these now prohibited firearms, the law says you cannot possess them, but there are some exceptions. Do any of them apply to you? Well, unless you're in law enforcement, military, tribal police, or an FFL, no, those exceptions are not going to apply to you, with the exception of one. You just need to register it. Subsections A and B of this section do not apply. 3. To the possession of a gas-operated semi-automatic firearm that was lawfully A. manufactured prior to July 1st, 2025, B. transferred by the manufacturer to another party, and this is where you need to pay attention, C. certified by the owner in accordance with Section 7 of the Gas-Operated Semi-Automatic Firearms Exclusion Act, and the owner owned the firearm and certified it prior to January 1st, 2026, or received the gas-operated semi-automatic firearm from an immediate family member who owned and certified the gas-operated semi-automatic firearm prior to January 1st, 2026. New Mexico, you are literally turning into Illinois, because just like they did to the folks out in Illinois, they banned this and said if you want to keep any of these grandfathered items in, you need to register it with the state. Not like that's in violation of any federal law, except for the Firearm Owners Protection Act of 1986. So in addition to banning one of the most common platforms of firearm, unconstitutional, the state of Mexico will allow you to keep your items, which you constitutionally or should be allowed to keep, but only by then registering them, another unconstitutional mandate. Oh yeah, New Mexico, one other thing. Even if you do have a grandfathered firearm and you properly have registered and gotten government's blessing, they're going to limit how you can even use or possess that firearm, because effective January 1st of 2026, the law would state, a gas-operated semi-automatic firearm that is lawfully certified in accordance with the process established by the Attorney General pursuant to Section 7 of the Gas-Operated Semi-Automatic Firearms Exclusion Act may only be possessed, 1. on private property owned or immediately controlled by the person, 2. on private property that is not open to the public with the express permission of the person who owns or immediately controls the property, 3. while on the premise of a licensed firearms dealer or gunsmith for purposes of a lawful transfer or repair of the gas-operated semi-automatic firearm, 4. while engaged in the legal use of a firearm at a properly licensed firing range or sport shooting competition venue, or 5. while traveling to or from locations described above. Oh, and then if you are traveling with it, yeah, it's going to have to be locked away, unloaded in a special box. I'm not making it up. The bill's linked up down below. You can check it for yourself. All registration applications will go to an FFL until January 1st of 2026, and then they will go to your Attorney General. And if there's any doubt that they're creating an unlawful gun registry in New Mexico, here's the data that the bill says has to be collected. 1, an affirmation that the person possessed the semi-automatic firearm pursuant to sections 3 and 8 of the law. 2, as applicable, the make, model, caliber, and serial number of the firearm. 3, the person's name, address, telephone number, and date of birth. That's all you really need for a gun registry, but there's more. 4, as applicable, the name, address, phone number, and unique identifying numbers of the licensed firearm dealer that prepared and is maintaining a copy of the certification form. Oh yeah, and then that certification form would have to be with you at all times that you are in possession of that now scary banned firearm. So let's talk about magazines, because there would be a new magazine ban. Effective July 1st, you wouldn't be able to buy any magazine which holds more than 10 rounds. Effective January 1st of 2026, you wouldn't be able to possess any unless, of course, you actually mark them. Am I making it up? No, actually, because the law reads, a person in possession of a large capacity ammunition feeding device, 1, shall mark the large capacity ammunition feeding device imported or manufactured under subsection C of this section after January 1st, 2026, in the manner prescribed by the Attorney General before a transfer, and 2, shall not obliterate or otherwise alter the serial number on the large capacity ammunition feeding device. Okay, and if that's not bad enough, New Mexico, I do want you to know that this bill also would ban any type of rapid fire devices. So your bump stocks, your forced reset triggers, your wide open triggers, your binary triggers, any of that would also be banned. The law claims to also ban machine guns. I don't know whether New Mexico didn't have a ban on them before. If you do happen to own an automatic weapon that is in complete compliance with the National Firearms Act, that is exempt from this statute. Okay, New Mexico, I wasn't joking when I said that this is absolutely one of the most comprehensive pieces of civilian disarmament legislation I've ever seen. Let's go back over it real quick. If Senate Bill 279 were to be enacted into law in this form, it would do all of the following. 1, an assault weapon ban. 2, a magazine ban. 3, an unlawful gun registry. 4, a ban of rapid fire devices. And 5, a ban on automatic weapons. And New Mexico, they did that all in 20 pages of legislation. They are truly trying to play catch up. Okay, it is Senate Bill 279. We're going to link it up down below. You don't have to take our word for it. Just geek out on it for yourself. If you got any questions about this or anything else related to what's left of our Second Amendment rights, you guys should know how to get a hold of Washington Gun Law by now. But if you don't, that's okay. That information is down there in the description box. Maybe you got an idea for a video we should be doing around here. Cool. Tell us all about it by clicking on that link right there. If you want to subscribe to our monthly newsletter, the ability to do all of that is right down there in the description box. And then finally, and most importantly, let's everyone remember that part of being the lawful and responsible gun owner, like we talk about all the time here, is to know what the law is in every situation and how it applies to you in any instance that you may find yourself. Until next time, thanks for watching and stay safe.